You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
'Cause that's the bottom line. 'Cause Stone Cold said so.
And so, goodbye. And good night. Bang! Settle!
Because I'm better than you, and you know it. Yes, sir.
Now welcome to Off the Mats with Alex Lowe's and Josh Silverberg.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Welcome to Off the Mat, where we only talk professional wrestling here every Saturday at 12 o'clock. And again, so many platforms you can listen to us on: YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Don't forget to download our free, I emphasize that, free app. If you have an iPhone, you can go on the Apple Store, just type in WWSRN. If you have an Android, go on the Google Play Store, type in WWSRN. You can also do it on your Alexa speaker or any smart speaker you have. Just say anything. I don't want to say Alexa because then my Alexa's going to start talking. But you could say play Worldwide Sports Radio Network and you can hear us. Welcome again. I'm Josh Silverberg every Saturday at 12 o'clock, and I'm in New York with me. I know it's a very long intro, but we have to make it known where our platforms are. My tag team partner, he's down south in Florida, Mr. Alex Lowe's. What's happening, man?
Nothing much. It's been an exciting week again for pro wrestling, and I'm excited to get into all the topics. It's going to be a great show today.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, Alex, we do have breaking news. Our phone lines are indeed open. The number, and I believe, Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 727-888-4295, correct?
Yep, 727-888-4295.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. That we have our phone lines open. If you want to email us, if you want to put comments down on Facebook, Twitter, anything, send them to our way. Alex going with the American Nightmare Cody shirt. That would have been a great shirt for last week on 4th of July.
Definitely because of the red, white, and blue.
I took the liberty of going, and again, everybody always likes to ask me, Josh, what theme are you going with your shirts this week? Because the New Japan Cup happened, and we're going to get to that in a minute. I went with New Japan Legends, so I got the Great Muta, and I got Jushin Thunder Liger, and I've decided to go with my Big Van Vader shirt that I'll be wearing today. So, Alex, as you said, there is so much to get to. We're going to recap Fyter Fest. We're going to recap NXT. We're going to preview those shows going forward. But we start, and again, we want to put a disclaimer out there if you haven't seen it yet. If you have not watched New Japan yet this morning, there will be spoilers up until 12:20. So after the 12:20 mark, you could come back on with us live, and we will talk about Fyter Fest and the Great American Bash. But until 12:20, if you have not watched New Japan yet, you may shut us off now because we don't want to spoil anything for you guys and girls. So, Alex, we're going to get right into it. We both witnessed it this morning. The New Japan Cup is finished. It's in the books. Dominion is tomorrow. And as I like to call it, the New Japan Swerve. That is exactly what it was. It was a swerve, all right. Evil defeating Okada in the finals, but that wasn't even the biggest swerve of them all. It was Evil after he called out Tetsuya Naito, okay, at a respectful call out.
Yep.
Naito put his fist up to do the LIJ symbol, and instead Evil, when he was going to do it, went like this quick and did his Everything is Evil finisher, and Evil is now a part of the Bullet Club. And that is a weird thing to say. Alex, what are your thoughts on Evil joining Bullet Club, and what were your thoughts on the match with Okada itself?
I believe Okada gave every ounce of his being in that match. Evil was very, very strong throughout this tournament, so I give him the most credit for winning the whole way through and getting far through the tournament. Also, Evil was very more aggressive, as you can tell, hitting Darkness Falls on Okada into the steel chairs. And the distraction outside was the pivotal moment for Evil to take advantage and win the match. So Evil joining Bullet Club for me has me excited to see what's going to happen at Dominion against Naito.
I'm curious. I'm curious for and you know what? I'm very mixed on it. And I'll tell you why I'm mixed on it. The reason being is because I don't know if Evil really fits the persona of Bullet Club. He's very different. He's a very different character than Bullet Club is. The thing about Bullet Club right now is they have no identity. The reason being is because their head leader, Jay White, he can't travel. Their second man, Kenta, he can't travel. Their third in command, Tama Tonga, he can't travel. So it's essentially a bunch of, I don't want to say jobbers, but you have Gato, you have Jado, Taiji Ishimori, and
Yujiro
Takahashi, and those are the only guys that you have right now in Bullet Club that can really, you know what I mean? You look at that and you go, okay, well, Chaos has Okada, Suzuki-gun, even though I know Minoru Suzuki, and by the way, we wish him a very speedy recovery. If you did hear, he came down with flu-like symptoms, so unfortunately he will not be able to participate. So we do wish him a speedy recovery, but they have at least Zack Sabre and somebody that can lead that group. And then you have LIJ with Tetsuya Naito as a leader. Bullet Club didn't have a leader.
No.
You don't know how long this is going to last, Alex. You don't know how long the travel bans are going to be. So Bullet Club needed a leader, and I guess they felt that Evil was the guy. But I'm with you. I'm curious to see what Dominion's going to be like tomorrow. I'm very interested. I'd be shocked if Naito lost because he's only had one title defense. But I would imagine if Naito's going to win, it's going to be like a quick roll-up or something like that where the rivalry keeps going and going.
Exactly. And I feel Evil really shocked the world with what he did there. Nobody expected that. New Japan definitely swerved all of us.
They do, baby. That's what they do. They do it more than anybody. But the question I have now for you, Alex, is so when the travel bans are lifted and Jay White and Kenta and GOD are all back, my question is, and with Evil there, do you think there's going to be too much leadership in the group? Does maybe there become some dissension between all the leaders, like Kenta, Jay White, Evil, and all those guys? Like, who's the leader? Do you expect it to happen, or do you expect it to be full systems go? This is how Bullet Club's going to do it with all the guys in the group.
I expect it to be somewhat full systems go, but I feel like there's going to be some arguments and some fallout in between who should be the leader, who should be in the matches, who should participate. I feel like there's going to be a lot of leverage there.
Do you think Evil fits the mold of Bullet Club, or do you think it could have been somebody else they made the leader instead?
I think Evil definitely fits the leader to be the Bullet Club because as Kevin Kelly says, everything is evil. So you know what to expect with Evil.
Yeah, that's exactly it for sure. All right, so let's get into it then. So we got the matches. There's supposed to be 7 to 9 matches. They said they planned for tomorrow, for Dominion, and so far the matches that are definitely set. There's 3 of them. You have Tetsuya Naito going up against Evil. You have Suzuki-gun, Taichi, and Zack Sabre Jr. going up against the IWGP Tag Team Champions, the Golden Ace of Hiroshi Tanahashi.
And then you have the Never Openweight Championship match, Shingo Takagi versus Sho. That's going to be a really exciting matchup to see.
Yes, I was gonna get, and I was gonna say that was the next thing with the card I was gonna say. So let's start with predictions, I guess, because there's only good 3 matches right now so far. So you have Sho versus Shingo Takagi, and the reason why Sho is in a singles match is because Yo is out with injury and everything like that. So Alex, who do you have in this one? Shingo Takagi versus Sho.
I'm going to go with Shingo in the Never Openweight Championship match because he's very strong, he's very quick, agile. He likes to use everything to his advantage on the outside floor. Sometimes using the ring post, we've seen him do that before with Sho and really go to work on Sho's legs. And Sho really likes to use speed to his advantage, and Shingo's going to try and take him off balance.
For sure. I'm going to go with Shingo Takagi as well. I think it's going to be a great match. Again, the reason why Sho is doing this is because Yo is out with an injury. I remember Sho and Yo Roppongi 3K are the IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions. So, don't take light of that because Sho is going in as a champion into the match. But I definitely think, I think it's going to be Shingo Takagi coming up with the big victory over Sho in this one. Next up we have, and this has been one that's been brewing for a while now, Alex, the Golden Ace of Hiroshi Tanahashi and Kota Ibushi, the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, going up against Suzuki-gun, Zack Sabre Jr., and Tai Chi. Who do you like in that one and why?
I'm going to go with Tai Chi and Zack Sabre Jr. I think they work very well together as a team. I feel like Tai Chi and Zack Sabre Jr. really know how to work together and put things together in the matchup that are unbelievable. Zack Sabre is very good with submissions and being agile and really going to work on certain type of teams. So this is going to be an interesting matchup for sure.
I like the Golden Ace retaining. I think they haven't had the belts for long enough. When they beat GOD, and of course then that's when everything happened in regards to the pandemic and stuff like that. I think it's time. I think, especially now with Evil and Sonata now finished, I think that makes it even weaker now for New Japan for their tag team division. They don't have many tag teams in their heavyweight tag team division. They really don't. It's very light. Losing Evil and Sonata doesn't help.
No.
So for me, I think you got to let the Golden Ace develop more. I think they're a great team together. I think they're a group that's destined for good things. So I like them in this match. I think it's perfect for them. And, we'll see how what their future holds. You hope when the pandemic and everything is gone, there'll be more tag teams that come forward. But right now, New Japan is very, very light on tag teams. It's just not an ideal situation for them. And losing one of their top tag teams in LIJ with Evil and Sonata, it just does not help the situation anymore. And let's go to because again, there's only 3 matches. Let's go to the heavyweight tag team. Let's go to the heavyweight tag team. Let's go to the heavyweight match between Tetsuya Naito and Evil. And this one is fascinating. This one is going to be interesting because I would be shocked if Evil won. Only because Alex and I said it. I feel like it would be too quick for Naito to lose the belts, because both belts are going to be on the line. When you're doing it in the way that when you're doing the way that this whole situation is, you want a guy like Naito to build for more defenses. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you need more chances.
Definitely.
He can't have one defense in him. That's it. It's over. We're done. I think it would be too quick. For me, it would kind of be like when I believe it was Okada faced Kenta, and Kenta joined Bullet Club, and the way Kenta lost to Okada, it was like it was a great 45-minute match, and it made Kenta look phenomenal. That's what I think they need to do with Evil here. They need to make him look strong, but still formidable for a future match. And I think going forward, I think it's going to be Naito that wins this match tomorrow.
And I agree. You never know what's going to happen in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Things can change quite often, and I feel like Naito's definitely going to retain the championship, both titles, the IWG IWGP Intercontinental Championship and the Heavyweight Championship. And I feel like he needs more time to grow. He needs more time to progress as the champion. And Naito is going to use everything to his advantage against Evil. Evil is going to be a very, very tough competitor for Naito, for sure. Naito's going to have to find a way to outsmart him.
Yeah, for sure. And you wonder, it was interesting because I was watching the match this morning, and all of a sudden I see Gato come out, and then I see Yujiro come out and beat up Okada, and I'm thinking, oh, what's going on here? I don't know what's happening. What do they have to do with Evil? You kind of got a fishy suspicion that Evil was in part of the Bullet Club if they're helping him out in every sort of way possible. But if you look at Evil throughout the tournament, Alex, now I know he usually does things that are evil because, again, everything around him is evil. We know this. But he was doing more and more heelish activities, especially against Sonata. I mean, look at how he beat Sonata. He low-blowed him. He hit him with a chair. And now is his tag team partner and a guy that he's won the IWGP Tag Team Championship with, and that's his LIJ counterpart, you know. And I thought to myself, I said, I said, this is very interesting because I don't know what to make of this whole situation because Evil just looked so heelish against Sonata. What were your thoughts when you saw that? Did you think throughout this tournament, especially after the Sonata match, did you have any idea that Evil was becoming more of a heel character in any sort of way?
I could see it unfolding slowly. I could kind of understand what was happening, the low blow, like you said, and even a couple times where he would stomp on his groin, stomp on him repeatedly on his lower back. That's something we don't see often from Evil. Evil is now becoming more aggressive than ever before, and this is a new side we're seeing unfold.
Absolutely. So before we get to our next segment, we have a few more minutes. We're going to do a New Japan here. What was your initial reaction when you saw Evil do the Too Sweet sign tonight, though?
I was surprised. I was actually really excited because myself, I'm a Bullet Club fan. I've been following the Bullet Club for a while now, ever since I started watching New Japan 2 summers ago. So I'm excited to see how everything unfolds with the Bullet Club and what direction they go.
Now, I wanted to ask you this question. It's an interesting one. Who should be, when the pandemic is lifted, who should be the leader of Bullet Club and why? And here are your choices, Alex, okay? You got choices. So this is, and you almost can't go wrong with any of them.
No.
Do you go with Jay White? Do you go with Kenta? Do you go with Evil? Or do you go with Tama Tonga?
I would go with the good guy, bad guy, Tama Tonga, because he really fits the mold to be the leader. I would be okay even with Naito. Not Naito. I'd be okay with Jay White and Tama Tonga switching roles back and forth. I would definitely like to see something happen.
Yeah, they kind of do that already. But you know for a fact that Jay White is the leader of the Bullet Club. You know that is his thing. Because he was the first one really to leave Chaos and join with Gato over to Bullet Club. And then, of course, Kenta joined afterwards, and now Evil does it. And everything like that.
But if I had to pick somebody to be the full leader, it would definitely be Tama Tonga, because he has the look, he has the skills to be a leader, and he definitely has the persona. He has the ability to lead people like Yujiro Takahashi and other members of the Bullet Club.
He's also been doing it the longest. He was there from the original get-go of this whole group. Hence, he started the whole BCOG. For me, it would be interesting. I like Jay White being the leader very much. I think Jay White fits the role of being the leader. He was the first guy to take over after leaving Chaos and turning on Okada. Then he got Gato over there with him, and then Jado joined afterwards. And, you know, it's kind of because when Bullet Club was happening, it was all about the Elite Bullet Club, the Elite Bullet Club. It wasn't the BCOG. Like Tamatanga, Tangaloa, Bad Luck Fale, those guys, Yujiro, I'm sure I'm missing more. They were not really part of the Elite. That was really what it came down to. So the Elite is what made the Bullet Club, I think, more popular than what it is today. And remember, you saw that rivalry towards the end when the Elite was finished in New Japan. You saw BCOG going up against Bullet Club Elite, and it was kind of interesting because you didn't know if Bullet Club could still take off with the Elite leaving to go to AEW. People were probably wondering, is Bullet Club still going to be able to handle being popular and everything? And they really have. They still have. I was at the G1 Supercard show at Madison Square Garden last year, WrestleMania weekend. People love Bullet Club. People were excited about it. To see the Bullet Club logo and the song in Madison Square Garden was a crazy, surreal moment because you never thought you'd ever see something like that. And I think when somebody joins Bullet Club, people get excited, and they've been getting big names and everything like that. So we'll see going forward. Don't forget to catch Dominion tomorrow, Sunday, early in the morning, and we'll discuss it next Saturday. But you can now turn your speakers back on to us. We're done spoiling New Japan. We're not going to spoil it anymore. It's over. Everything like that. So, but definitely be sure to watch the New Japan Cup final. You're not going to want to miss it. It's a big moment that does happen. So let's get into it, Alex. AEW, NXT, they concluded their Fyter Fest Great American Bash shows this week. Fyter Fest Night 2 happened, and the Great American Bash Night 2 as well happened. And so much went down. Starting with Fyter Fest, you saw the tag team match between Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega versus Private Party, which was excellent. The main event, Orange Cassidy, Chris Jericho, was so much fun to watch. You heard the announcement, Nyla Rose announcing that she's going to have a manager with her now, and I have a good manager for her. I doubt she'll pick her. If she does, I'd be surprised. And then on NXT, listen, Keith Lee, man, it's his time to shine out. But then you saw at the end of the show who was watching down from the skybox at Keith Lee. It was Karrion Kross and Scarlett laughing when Keith Lee won the double gold. And so it's Keith Lee's time to shine. I thought the shows were really good. I thought the tag team match with Drake Maverick and, those guys were good. I thought the Candice LeRae Mia Yim match was very good as well. The street fight. So, Alex, in your thought process, what was your favorite show this week and why?
So I'm going to go with NXT's Great American Bash because you had the main event, Adam Cole versus Keith Lee, and it was an amazing matchup. You had Candice LeRae and Mia Yim in a street fight match. You had also Mercedes Martinez, her debut, and her return to NXT. That was very cool to see. And overall, NXT was just a great show. I believe their card was very, very well done this week. And I could see NXT picking up in the ratings for the next couple weeks or so. And they're really kicking it in gear. They're really kicking it in gear now.
For me, it was I thought both shows were great. I thought they were both very, very close. Of course, I enjoyed the main event more than AEW's main event. I enjoyed Adam Cole versus Keith Lee over Chris Jericho, Orange Cassidy, and that's no disrespect for them. That's just what it is. I enjoyed NXT more this week, but I thought both shows were really good.
Definitely. Both shows were very well built. The cards were very well put together. And I'm going to say for AEW, for Fyter Fest, for me, it was a 6 out of 10. And then for NXT, it was a 8 out of 10 for me. Oh,
look at this. He's giving ratings now. You have to call Dave Meltzer. Okay? You have to tell him, hey, I'm a ratings guy too. No, for sure. But I thought both shows were great. I would give Fyter Fest, I would say 7 out of 10. I mean, look, that tag team match with FTR and the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros and Butcher and Blade was...
It was phenomenal.
Insane. And now you're going to have FTR next week going up against the Lucha Brothers for the first time. And it's, you're also going to have the Elite back, which we're going to preview all of that after this in the next half. But do you like the idea, Alex, of Keith Lee winning both the North American and the Heavyweight Championship, or do you think it should have still been Adam Cole's?
I like the idea of Keith Lee winning both championships, and I feel like Karrion Kross is going to be next in line for a title shot, and we clearly saw that at the end of the main event match. And Kross will be Keith Lee's toughest competitor. Kross is very hungry, he's very dangerous, and Keith Lee will have to be ready for what's coming next.
Absolutely. I think when you look at it, I think it's pretty obvious that Karrion Kross is going to be next in line. I'm excited for the build-up because these are two guys, especially Keith Lee, that do things with their body type and their size ability where you see it and you go, oh, how does Keith Lee do that? You know what I mean? So I think it works perfectly. I'm curious how the build's going to be between the two. I'm excited because Keith Lee can also cut promos. Scarlett and Carrie don't really need to cut a promo themselves. They are a promo. They do like the behind-the-scenes promos, which is cool. So, like I said, when you look at the build-up for the matches going forward, I think this was the right way to go. I think Adam Cole had a ridiculously great run as the NXT Heavyweight Champion. I believe it was 406 days. And when you look at how everything was, I mean, it really is insane how unbelievably good and talented Adam Cole did. I mean, look at the matches that he had, Alex. All these great matches with Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano and Finn Balor and title defenses against Daniel Bryan and this and that. I mean, he did everything you possibly could as NXT champion. And you wonder now, is it time for him to move to the next phase of his career, which is possibly to the main roster? We'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure. What are your thoughts on that, Alex?
I believe Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era could get moved to the main roster. If they're going to do it, they're probably going to leave one or two members behind on NXT. But at the same time, you have all of Undisputed Era kind of going like, do we really want to move up to the main roster? Because they're not sure how it's going to go for them. They're not sure if they're going to get enough experience up there.
Yeah, I can imagine. They're very anxious about it because, again, they don't want to leave anybody behind. That's a group that has built themselves and made themselves to be NXT through and through. And when you think of NXT, you think of the Undisputed Era and everything like that. Really quick, because I know we're going to go to a break in a couple of minutes, but before we do, we want to give you some information. Alex, what is the Twitter handle and the Facebook handle for Off the Mat?
So the Twitter handle is the same as the Facebook handle. It's Off the Mat WWSRN. Off the Mat WWSRN. You
can check us out, again, the phone number as well, 727-888-4295 if you like to call in and talk about anything, New Japan, NXT, AEW, companies that aren't running right now. If you just have a wrestling history question alone. Also, don't forget, we have so many different platforms you have to check us out on, guys. Guys and girls, we're growing. We're growing each and every single day, okay? And what I mean by that is we're on different platforms now. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. I believe we're on Instagram as well. We have our own app now where you can check out our show schedules. You can check out articles. I know Alex has written a few articles on wrestling. If you have an iPhone, just type it on the Apple Store, WWSRN. If you have an Android, type in WWSRN on the Google Store. And again, did I mention the app is free? I need to emphasize that to you. You don't have to pay anything. Don't worry. It's all free. It's all good. And everything like that. You can also watch us with our clips when the show's over, and you can rewatch the show as well. So, Alex, before we go to break, do you have anything left you want to add to the week of NXT AEW?
I actually want to add and say that Mercedes Martinez in her match against Santana Garrett was really interesting. Santana Garrett, she had no idea what kind of person she was going up against because this is a brand new Mercedes Martinez. She's much more faster, aggressive. She's more experienced. She's been building herself up, training a lot, and getting really experienced in the squared circle. So she really doesn't mess around or take anything lightly when it comes to matches.
Absolutely, and she's just growing before our very eyes. So, Alex, one more announcement before we go to break. I did want to make this quick announcement. It doesn't have anything to do with Off the Mat, but it does have something to do with the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. So our boss man, Mr. Errol Marks, he is starting a show. It is actually starting today. It's called The Weekend Crunch. It is starting with former NFL football player Eric Coleman. He will be doing it together. They will be on 103.9 FM, Long Island News Radio, JVC. They are starting their show today, and I believe the show is at 7 o'clock tonight. So the debut of the Weekend Crunch. Errol Marks and Eric Coleman, former NFL football player Eric Coleman, who works for SNY ESPN Radio. They are going to be co-hosting a show called The Weekend Crunch, starting tonight at 7 o'clock on 103.9 FM, Long Island News Radio and JVC. So you definitely want to check that out. I know for a fact that how hard those two have worked to try to get this show together. And it's going to be big for us as well because it's, our network is now going to be exposed and out there now on an FM dial, Alex, so it's even bigger. When we come back, we got a fantastic This Week in Professional Wrestling. Alex has been teasing it for days on his Instagram if you haven't been following. We also have our previews for AEW, for NXT, and we have our finisher coming up, so you don't want to miss it. This is Off the Mat on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We'll be right back.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Everybody's got a price. Rest in peace.
Welcome back to Off the Mat with Alex Lowe's and Josh Silverberg.
All right, everybody, welcome back. I forgot to unmute myself. That's okay. We're back. Welcome to the second half of Off the Mat here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. And if you're listening to us, there's a billion different ways to listen: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, smart speaker. You can just tell your smart speaker to play the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Also, our free app. Just type in WWSRN on the Apple Store if you have an iPhone, or on the Google Play Store if you have an Android. It's that simple. Also, don't forget really quick tonight, the Weekend Crunch, 7 o'clock tonight on 103.9 FM. Errol Marks and former NFL football player Eric Coleman doing their show together. It's their big debut, so you definitely want to check that out. But we're here to talk professional wrestling because that's what we do here, right, Mr. Alex Lowe's?
Definitely, and the next thing we have is This Week in Wrestling History, and I'm excited to talk about it. You've been
teasing it like crazy.
Yeah, I definitely have on Instagram and Twitter. Just been putting some videos out there, some interesting videos on Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, for sure. So what is your This Week in Wrestling about? What is it that took place this week?
So this week, this took place in July 7th of 1996, Bash at the Beach. Hulk Hogan formed the NWO with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and revealed that he was the third man. And no one expected this. Everybody expected Hogan to side with Sting and Macho Man and really go against the outsiders. And Hogan really shocked the world when he did that. And you could tell fans were really upset. They were throwing trash in the ring. And you heard Mean Gene Okerlund say, what in the world are you thinking? Like, why are you doing this? And Hogan told everybody that for years I held my head up high. I did the charities. I did everything for the fans. And the reception I got was a bad reception back. People didn't really respect me for what I was doing. And that he had a reason, but Hogan had a reason for what he did. A reason for why he turned on the fans, why he went heel. And I think nobody really caught on to that until the NWO started building themselves up and having some new members walk in.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that very well back in '96. And also the rumor that always had gone around, and it was told, was that originally I believe Sting was supposed to be the one that joined the NWO, but he didn't want to do it. So Hogan wound up doing it instead. I think it was the better move. I think it worked well because, look, it got one of the biggest rivalries in '97, Sting versus the NWO. So it worked perfectly.
It definitely did, and it helped WCW in the Monday Night Wars against Monday Night Raw in the ratings, for sure.
Absolutely, and that was what the key component of the whole Monday Night Wars was, because people wanted to see what the NWO was the cool thing. You know what I mean? They were the ones that when you went to WCW shows, you would see all the teenagers and the college kids wearing NWO shirts because they were the cool group on the block. That was what they were. And you went to wrestling shows and nobody liked that. I mean, people liked WCW, but the thing was, and I remember this, I was younger, so I was a Sting kid. So I would always wear my Sting shirt against the NWO fans. And that was my thing. And I remember back and forth. And Sting would torment the NWO for months upon months. And he was quiet and nobody said anything. And he would torment the NWO forever. And then he finally got his match at Starrcade '97. And he beat Hulk Hogan. Now, the match didn't really live up to what the expectation was. And it was such a great story. To me, that is one of the greatest rivalries in professional wrestling history, is Sting versus the NWO. Because let's face it, Sting took on an entire group. Now, he would have weeks where he would have DDP, the Giant, Lex Luger, those guys helping him. But you would see at the end of Nitro, I almost said the end of Raw, the end of Nitro, he would have the baseball bat, and he'd just start beating the snot out of everybody on the NWO. And every time Hogan would look at him, Hogan would look very nervous. So I just remember when I look back at that as a kid and how much fun it was. And then, of course, the WWE said you had DX. So it was almost like if you were a WWE fan, you like DX.
Mm-hmm.
You like W, you like
definitely.
Oh, that was what it was. But you had one thing in common. They were all members of the Clique. And that was what the that was what the goal of the Clique was, is they wanted to take over the face of professional wrestling. They wanted to take control of both brands, at WCW and WWE, and they did that. NWO, I think, more so because WWE had Stone Cold, The Undertaker. DX was a part of it, but they weren't the main part of it. You know what I mean? Like they were just another group that was in there. The NWO was WCW. The NWO had its own pay-per-view. Remember, it was called NWO Sold Out, where they had a match where every NWO member fought against a WCW guy. And I thought the build-up of that was really good. Eventually got to be too many members joining the NWO, Alex. That was what it came down to. Too many guys were joining this guy was joining, and this guy was joining. Stevie Ray joined it.
You had Bret the Hitman Hart and all those guys.
And Horace Hogan joined it, and it was just like everybody and their mother is joining it. It's like, it's just becoming, now the whole locker room is NWO, and then it's like, well, who do they have to go up against now? And then they had NWO Wolfpack, the Red and the Black, and then Sting joined that, and Lex Luger and Randy Savage and Conan joined. And it was just like, it's like it's too much. They're saturating it with too much NWO. There's not WCW versus NWO. That was the problem.
Definitely. But the cool thing about it is the NWO became a popular figure in wrestling, and they still are today. A lot of people still recognize who they are, and they even made their return, I think, at WrestleMania 34, 35 against DX, With
31.
the match 31? Yeah.
Yeah,
The match between Sting and Triple H, that was really cool to see.
Yes, and Alex, who does the Bullet Club? What do they do? The Bullet Club.
The Bullet Club, they
do the Too Sweet. Their colors are black and white.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they do. I mean, it's just a resemblance of the NWO.
A big resemblance, and they kind of are similar in a way.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, you have to remember when Bullet Club first formed, Cody Hall, Scott Hall's son, was in the Bullet Club when Prince Devitt was in charge of it. I mean, the original members were, I believe, Cody Hall, Prince Devitt, Tama Tonga, trying to think who else, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and Bad Luck Fale. Those were the original members of the Bullet Club when they first formed. And now you see where it is today, and it's just taken over the professional wrestling business. You see Bullet Club shirts like, you're wearing one now. You know what I mean? It takes over the professional wrestling industry, the Bullet Club. When you think of wrestling today, I think of instantly black and white colors, the Too Sweet. One of my groomsmen, a really quick story actually before we get to AEW NXT, I'm going to tell you a quick story. One of my groomsmen at my wedding, Lyle Gillard, who he does my show every Sunday night. You can listen to a Takedown Breakdown every Sunday night on YouTube. He was one of my groomsmen at my wedding. He came up to me at the wedding. When he got up to the front next to me, he went like this to me, and the two of us went like this together. And it's on the, you know what I mean? So it was just a cool. It's like a thing now that people think of Bullet Club, and I think the NWO has been a big factor of that in the wrestling business the last few years.
Definitely, and going back to Hulk Hogan where he joined the Outsiders, it upset a lot of people. Fans were really, really angry for a long time.
Yeah, they were. They absolutely were. I mean, you saw it. Go watch if you haven't watched it yet. It's on the WWE Network. Go watch Bash at the Beach. I bet you can even find it on YouTube if you don't have the network. And it's there. The trash that was thrown and everything, Alex.
Yep, just plastic cups, food, wrappers thrown in the ring.
You know, when we were allowed to throw things at people back then, right? Now, if we throw something, now we're kicked out of the arena. But let's get into our next topic. And that was a great This Week in Wrestling, Alex. Fantastic job. That was awesome. Let's get to our next topic. We're going to preview NXT, AEW, and you have Fight for the Fallen. That's coming up this week. And let me get the card. I have the card here. Let me grab it quick. Okay. So far, 4 matches have been announced. You have the Elite, Kenny Omega, Mad Nick Jackson versus Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt. FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood versus the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix. Cody going up against Sonny Kiss for the AEW TNT Championship. And, of course, the awaited main event people have been waiting for the last few weeks. Jon Moxley versus now the FTW, which I will not say what that stands for. If you're a wrestling fan, you know what that stands for. I'm not allowed to say it on here. Neither is Alex. The FTW champion, and that's Brian Cage. So, Alex, let's do a little prediction. Let's start with the first match, the Elite versus Jurassic Express. Who are you going with in this match, and why?
I'm going to go with Jurassic Express because they've been really turning things around the last couple weeks. They work very well as a team. And you saw them go up against MJF and Wardlow, and they really kicked it into high gear with them. And they're really such a good dominant tag team, and I believe they're one of the top 6 of the 5 tag teams in the world.
Really? So that's a little segue of a preview of what we're going to do next week, I guess. So now we have to do that next week now, Alex. We are now going to I'm going to announce it now. You ready? I'm going to announce it right now. So next week, we're going to do a top 5 tag teams in the world. Alex and I will each do a list, and we'll discuss it. How's that sound?
I'm all for it, man. I'm excited to go through that list.
Now that you brought Jurassic Express as a top 6, I got to hear your list next week. I have to hear your list. But you can't spoil it to me during the week and tell me your list. Okay? Don't do that.
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm going to go with the Elite and with mine. I love what you said. Jurassic Express is really one of the most underrated tag teams in the world. I think for me, the Elite is also, I think, one of the top. Look, Mad Nick Jackson are one of the top tag teams in the world. But you notice I did not tell you what number they are. That's the only thing. I didn't tell you what number on my list. But they are one of the best tag teams in the world in all seriousness. And Kenny Omega is one of the best in the world as well. I love the fact, and, you know, to me, when I look at where the Elite is right now, they've become the faces of professional wrestling. One of them, at least. So I'm going to go with them. FTR versus the Lucha Brothers. Alex, who you got?
I got the Lucha Brothers because they put on a fantastic performance for Fyter Fest, and they really went to war with FTR in that match. They really put on a really great show, and I feel like the Lucha Brothers are going to do it again. I feel like they're going to pull through against FTR. It might be challenging for them, but I really think they're going to put on their best performance as they have in the past couple weeks.
All right. Well, Alex, you know me already. The Lucha Brothers are my favorite tag team. You knew that already with me. But I'm going to go FTR. I think they need to have this win. I think you can't lose to the same team, I think, twice. I think it would be very difficult for them to come back, but I think it's going to be a great match. I actually think this is going to be the best match on the card.
It definitely will be, and it's going to be a neck-and-neck match for sure. It's going to be a very close one.
For sure. I think it's perfect, and I think it's a great segue for how dominant the tag team division is. It's funny because, Alex, we were talking earlier about the New Japan tag team division, how weak it is right now, and then you look at the AEW tag team division, you see how strong that is right now. It's night and day between the two.
Definitely, and it's a whole different story with AEW and their tag team division, and they're really building everything together. They're making their shows week by week more interesting.
Absolutely, for sure, and I think it's perfect, and I think this is a great match for FTR. Let's see what they're made of. They call themselves one of the top tag teams in the world. Let's see them go against one of the top tag teams in the world. Next up, we got Cody versus Sonny Kiss for the AEW TNT Championship. Sonny Kiss has really done a great job the last few weeks. He has so underrated in the ring, so talented. I've seen the matches on Dark. I know you're a big Dark fan, Alex. But I'm going to go Cody in this one. I think Cody will be holding on to this championship for a while.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cody as well, and I believe Sonny Kiss he's going to put on his best performance. He's going to try and do everything he can to wear down Cody. And we saw last week on Fyter Fest what Sonny Kiss what he's capable of, and you saw that against Lance Archer for sure. And I feel like Sonny Kiss is going to try and match his skills with Cody's. But Cody Rhodes, he's very skilled, and he's going to follow up with. What I'm trying to say is he's going to follow up with Sonny Kiss and really try to stand his ground.
Yeah. And the last match we have, the main event, Jon Moxley versus Brian Cage. Alex, who you got in this one? Why? This is a tough one.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely a tough one because you got Brian Cage. He's a monster of a man. He's got a cannon of an arm. He can really lay down strikes. He's very good at targeting different parts of the body. And Moxley's got it. I think Moxley can pull this off against Brian Cage for sure. But it's going to take a lot of work because Brian Cage is not going down easily. He is not going down without a fight. He's got somebody in his corner. He's got a manager. He's got Taz, who is really guiding him and allowing him to build himself up in the ring and really unleash a lot of hell on the wrestlers and a lot of skill. And really, he's going to put in his best effort, but I think Moxley's going to come back around and win this. And I'm not sure what Moxley's condition is now, but I believe I think he's negative now. from what I heard.
It was just announced the other day he is negative, as is Renee Young. So thankfully they're both negative. They're both healthy and feeling good. Really quickly for me, I'm going to go Jon Moxley retaining. I think he's going to have an extended run on this longer. I'm curious to see where they go with Brian Cage from here. It would not shock me if Brian Cage won, though. That would not surprise me. But I do think, in my opinion, I think Moxley is going to be the one that wins this thing, keeps up the momentum. But if Brian Cage does win, would not surprise me in the least bit. So, really quick, Alex, let's do one match for NXT because we didn't give NXT its due. Io Shirai will be defending her women's championship against Tegan Nox. Who do you got and why?
I got Tegan Nox because Tegan has come a long, long way to get to this point in her career, and she even said it in the in her promo against Io Shirai. She said that she scratched and clawed her way and waited her whole life to get to this point, to get to this moment, and to be able to face somebody like Io Shirai for the NXT Women's Championship, and she wants to be crowned a new NXT Women's Champion. And this is where it comes full circle for her. It may or may not happen, and I'm hoping Tegan Nox really gives her best performance.
I'm a huge Tegan Nox fan. I am, but I think Io's going to win it. I don't think she's going to have a quick run. I think eventually she'll be called up to the main roster to take over for Kairi Sane when she goes back to Japan. I think she'll be the one that takes over for her and to help Asuka and stuff. So for me, I think Io Shirai is going to continue her dominance. I think she needs to have a longer title run, just like her fiance who just joined Bullet Club in Evil. So it's kind of crazy how full circle when you look at all of that and how it happens. But enjoy NXT and AEW every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. Of course, AEW on TNT, NXT on the USA Network. All right, Alex, it is that time. We're at the end. It is time for our finishing move, sir. What is yours this week?
So my finishing move is the time I met Jimmy Hart at Hogan's Beach Shop, and I remember this very clearly. I remember going in to Hogan's Beach Shop and seeing Jimmy Hart there, and I was like beyond belief starstruck because this is somebody this had been somebody I've been wanting to meet beforehand for such a long time because he managed the Hart Foundation. He managed a few different tag teams and really brought out the best in those tag teams in WWE. And that's why he's such a big legend in the wrestling business. And that's why I really wanted to meet him. So going in there, I had no idea he was going to be there. But once I saw him, I knew, like, hey, I have to meet this guy. I have to talk to him and see what he's like and the kind of person he is. And he's such a down-to-earth, nice guy. He's really he's so helpful at giving advice. And when I went up to him, I told him, hey, I do backstage stuff for a wrestling promotion, and then I also have my own podcast. This was before we started doing Off the Mat. And I told him, and the one thing he told me that was very interesting, and he gave me some commentary advice too, because I told him I wanted to go into wrestling commentary as well. And he told me, always pay attention to the referee, because the referee is going to give you signals. The referee is the key point in the match of every wrestling match, because they're going to tell you what's going on, when something's going to happen, and when somebody's about to quit or tap out. And it was a really cool moment. And then when I was about to walk away, he's like, hey, come back. I'm like, yeah, because there was nobody in line. There was nobody in line in the store, which is why he called me back. And he's like, how about you sit down with me for one match? Because they have old matches playing in Hulk Hogan's Beach Shop. They have matches from the 80s and 90s in there. And actually, the match we were watching, he was on the screen when I was in there, when I walked in. So that was a really cool moment for me. And it's something I'll never forget as long as I live, for a long time.
And I don't blame you. That's something you should never forget. That's something you should take in, for sure. That really is, and I never knew that about the referees. I never knew that you had to watch them that closely, so that's great. My finishing move for me this week, since we're going to do meeting legends, I'll say one of mine. It was last year at WrestleMania Access. I got to meet my favorite of all time. I met Sting, and that was awesome. That was. I don't get starstruck or anything like that. That was the one time I think I really did. That was cool. It was something I'll never forget. I have a picture with him that we took, a professionally done photo. So that's definitely one that you look back on and you say, yeah, I'm going to take that and remember that for the rest of my life, because it's just a cool moment in your life, really. And you don't want, there's certain things you don't forget. Like you said, Alex, I mean, the fact that Jimmy Hart called you back, that will let you watch a match with him, I think you take that. That goes beyond just meeting somebody. You know, that now this becomes, it was went from a moment to a memory, you know, so that's just really a cool thing. I want to thank all the listeners and the viewers watching us this week, of course. Remember, our phone lines are open, so if you want to call in, you could call in 727-888-4295. Our phone lines are up and running. We have our email that you can email us to. Don't forget to listen to us. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and our free app. If you have an iPhone, go on the Apple Store, type in WWSRN. If you have an Android, go on the Google Play Store, type in WWSRN. You can see our schedule, our articles, everything. And we have other great programs on here, too, like the Big Guy Sports, Wise Guys, The Morning Boys, Cage with the MMA show, Down to the Wire, everything like that. We have all these shows that we have. So it's not just off the mat. We're only getting louder here at the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. And don't forget, starting tonight at 7 o'clock, the Weekend Crunch, Errol Marks, our head here at the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, will be co-hosting with former NFL football player Eric Coleman. So you don't want to miss that. That's awesome. Alex, been a pleasure.
It definitely has. And stay tuned for next week, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to be another great episode of Off the Mat.
Be a great episode. We can't wait. Again, please, everybody stay safe out there. Stay healthy. We know the spikes are going up with COVID-19. We want everybody to be careful. Alex, have a good rest of your weekend. I'll talk to you all soon. You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.